Chilo Wontonadol Tonyel DJ Dingarang Jagda Lo Diana Papin Adina Majaga Jideng Makwaga Oton Parat Ye Maduni Baya Budimit Pandania Aye Tony Tuol Butunga Tony Adina Majag Anyar Kubuan by Egypt Sukula Ikabi Majong Chigo Mami Baye Aye Bing Kilo Adina Majaga Jideng Makwaga Oton Parat Maduni Baya Budimit Pandania Aye Tony Tuol Butunga Tony Madini Majak Anyar Kubuan by Egypt Sukula Ikabi Majong Chigo Mami Baye Aye Bing Kilo Adina Majaga Jideng Makwaga Oton Parat Maduni Baya Budimit Pandania Aye Tony Tuol Butunga Tony Madini Majak Anyar Kubuan by Egypt Sukula Ikabi Majong Chigo Mami Baye Aye Bing Kilo Patangabala Kubila Ping India Dem Paniri Juno Ayora Matul Madini Majak Mati Injina Teto Butia Injiwa Ayora Jima Mana Jula Joda Inayo Ajibia Binyebi Ibon Jangan Anyi Pinong Anbayan Inaga Jalia Togupani Janya Undira Ayana Tidia Dinjangate Dinyane Unini Bang Adolo Maku Ini Chit Paladi Ayana Udingi Nyela Bodi Undana Edi Janyam Tino Owa Yego We love well to be Kayo Nini Denji Una Madu Boy Bagong Mabu Kera Gudur Wat Yon Pajak Ijin Jinga Pajak Ijin Koni Tori Toli Unu Ayelwa Alaya Big Bayuru Warajo Tinga Uni Nyel Uni Baye Ajebe Gambi Amuding Mariam Ina Oi Kwe Kamsin Ka Watani Madini Majak We love well to be Kayo Nini Denji Una Madu Boy Bagong Mabu Kega Gudur Wat Yon Pajak Ijin Tinga Pajak Ijin Koni Tori Toli Unu Ayelwa Alaya Big Bayuru Warajo Tinga Uni Nyel Uni Baye Ajebe Gambi Amuding Mariam Ina Oi Kwe Kamsin Ka Watani Madini Majak
Alejema Kwene Wota Jo
Masilia Oya Dai
Alejema Jode Billy Jode Billy Alejema.
Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to Lagos State Media. My name is Abraham Madin Majak, and my co-host Mujong Makur Malak join me in Clubhouse. We welcome everybody who joined us in Facebook, YouTube, and X, and also in Clubhouse. So this is the part 2. Yesterday we talked about. We do a live coverage. A lot of people contributing in Clubhouse. We talk about the current issues going on in Nasir, in Upper Nile. The security situation going there. There's a lot of chaos going there. I have some of the videos that I will play. And also today we have seen Honorable Michael Mukulwe give a conference. So Lagos State Media cover that. We hope some of you follow Lagos State Media. Hopefully you guys watch those videos. And I will be playing the full conference from Honorable Michael Mukulwe. So I will play that video. And also before I go to all those videos, so pet things, let me remind everybody, those of you who are in diaspora and also back home, The situation in Upper Nile is getting into the turmoil. We have seen loss of life from the both sides. Yes, of course, we have seen that the White Army has captured, they were captured Nasir. They control Nasir right now. And SSPDF, they are no longer there, and some of them nowhere to be. So these things is going on, and it's real chaos. My question to those leaders, IO, and leaders of White Army. So after all of this, so what are you guys going to get out of this? And I have warned you for the last couple of weeks when these issues going on. We've been preaching that to de-escalate the situation, and then the thing is not until the war break out and we see the death, people die, and those people who lost their life will not come back, and those people who lost their loved one. My heartfelt condolences. I'm praying and comfort you for those grievances you guys are going in. So this is one of the things. I will be playing a lot, and then right now I'm not going to open a discussion yet until I play the videos. And the video that I will be start beginning of the show is the video of the soldiers, SSPDF soldiers that who are locked into the camp. That's the video that I will play. And that video is I will play that.
Go do the card when you got the Kidong Agdu. Go do the card when you got the Kidong Mantale, away the way the quite the Babeka road bus. Away the road quite the Babeka road bus. Go do the card when you got the Kidong Agdu. Go do the card when you got the Kidong Mantale, away the way the road quite the Babeka road bus.
Oh, Grunly, when you talk, Liwa took the Yoga Baby, and you are your one there. Can book the Papa I will maintain Yamokain, where I read the Babika, don't cook and consume my joy. Some more read. I still run and took a little.
Could the Baba do it to you? The Baba do it to you, the Baba do it to you, my daughter.
I came adore the Baba car by one time and Mojan Tisa Dana. I came with you.
She listened for in your bito.
I think what you much Mariah is at the Dana with Tinkarba, which the Baba Kirado.
Quite Alasa, I think quite a Juba. The you were a little.
I think Juba.
One there, two things as a Maluma, two things like a long Indian gun to you're gonna quite like I'm with it. Will you watching? Liwa Kenya, I don't see gun to be Munyal to Bastiel, and Benjamin. Could you allow you a command you ping him out? Madru?
Liwa came a group, Liwa took the Babian.
Liwa said, Padmui?
Okay, I said, Liwa came.
Okay, I love you, Laura. Hello? I can make a manaway, I can make a chicken away. We have a jerry to Kun way of being eligible below him. The key open a long bender, which you could be one up. You open a long bender, which you could be one up. I've been nearly blue in Lamentin Kalanko. Nearly so. Daman Chagdor can a quiz. Again, I'll mem you telephone you Colorado telephone German away can point you. The telephone you the channel point you. I got it told me.
I
Jalo mother, the Jalo mother, Ladi, Maniacdot, Jalo mother, Ladi Maniacdot. In Bajalban Tea, but then Bajalban Tea. You know,
I am Levi.
Java, you know,
Wi-Fi.
well, what about baby?
What about a long time?
Now, okay, I want to get up to the Chija.
I think I like to go and movement in taking my way to even Savali will a Tizali.
Now, I don't want to say, I know going to Bobby.
Uro hiena ko da ba bai.
Wa cái piu u jo na ko.
A won ko ke jal ke.
Tare o ke chi ga lai ka nyo dai ko mo chi tang da wa.
Okay, có fi wi ka cha ya da ba bai ko we. Ku chamen jaliu.
Chamen liu jala zakira kila ja ta ko to.
Zakira kila cha ai to.
Ai.
Aja dong kong chi mat. Awa the chi ku ping la ke ka chi lu yin tiao ko ba lang bi sai den adar ku jala akoka. U gala chi. Ko bu dong mata fa ga yen ta la ta le mara shi riak no ko de juba. A chan bu.
Ai ping kan wan, ai ping kan wan.
Ai ping kan ya ko.
Ai ping kan ya ga. In telengen tadi ke mo jan ka ni mo jan rasit telengen tadi ga. Telengen
Illa biya su kun jalan yuptin ko da ban ga da yi mu ngala.
Okay.
Illa biya su kun jalan yuptin.
Laila.
Kwet.
Wara antiar na bawi.
Una ta wore liwatin da ba mo liwatin da kam nafar.
Ko kangwan.
Kai ka ngwan be ga liwa za to. Da baba da ra fa la so ga da yin wala shi ba be tun da baba yi.
Ra ne.
Ara da baba ya bar wa jam ko weksa.
Ni wa ta kana.
Okay. Ala yin barna bara ti pating da nanti.
Okay.
Naman.
Ha?
Maru boy ra sai andu mu shi bala wan.
Kai ye.
Ara ti ja to ya lang ko ki ban la ka to ra ti tin tal fun dun ngan lang ko ja ka bra kam ko ju ba ja ga bra kam du. De pa ju yu chu ba.
Ejen antian. Ai lang ko ju yu ba. Lang bi lew la.
Ara ka ma du ja tek pin pe yala ka dang. Ka ja to je MTN ko lang ko che chol group ite na ja to je ga ba lo ra ti bla da tin. To am tin mo lo shi gal tilgi wala ra tin.
Ngon motin abendin un kamu ba ki wo ye ga tak tan na ka ko ku be be. Idan go ku kam mo je mo be. Ka ke ban ta ko silik ka ko kwan ku silik ku leg la ka dan.
Mu ja na ka mo ba ka no ga di lo no ke ga pinga ga ke ni pe ga da ba ra ko ai no tin pe.
Ka dan to ngenen ke ka mama ke dan da ba da ngenen ke domre lakin zuwa kin yayi ngadi kin ya biya ba. Aki lo ka dan.
Ni wa kin ya
da ba dan to ke da mi 12 da ta na sa ku jala fi kam ku kala jan ba.
Ni wa kin ya ni wa dom.
Ke to ke don ga ngenen.
Ali wa kin ya.
Ko ke ga. Li wa chu ya to. Li wa madara da in to ga riya to ta ba ya lang du lu ku da ba mun ci yo. Wali ta kin ku lo ka dan. Ata wali dan ka kin mo ja wa da girin dana. Kwai biya lui batal ba da ke kya ku ga kai ga ki ga. Da kina koi.
Okay, na yin wala na rakam ke yin li wala tal fulu dan ke. Yin li wala tal fulu ke tan ke da baba den da tal fulu.
Wa jam gen.
Yin li wa mu.
Liwa yen ki jiro lo wa ko churi ya no ga dan ja ka lo wa bu ka jan yek pa tan bu gwan to boy hoy to ken men da mo ke ga da baba kan dana da jiro to ku jam ki to ke ja so ka dan ke ja kule ku jam ne ko kule ku jam katiba wula enta lu man ta ka liwa ken mi kira
Asa ka shi we yob juba ka ta ba rakam do ja gam ka ju je pe. So thì ani jam ko ke ya da ko ka ta fil pa ma jam ko ke ko ka le la alu ko ta bro jo da chwa ku ja ku ye yole sha de ga lo ka ke ba na maru al me tin la ma ni wa nya le bu ka ko we ka chin la na al ko ya wa da ja zikira ja ban to tan we ke na we ran ma cha ke ko to nin ka ro wi chap ade ya bo sa ba yo ma jo ya da ga mo ya ban pa lo ka la ka chin la chọc bùi quan bao tuổi quê ya kama ui bảo xin ya bar na lem tui ya ko lui bảo la den tui ya le ke ja ke tinge lui ya bi ga jal ka munya ngo tin lem tui ya lo kwa lu ma ko cha la ba kai ui ba wa tem ba bra ja la mo bi
Kita duduk ala wana kita duduk.
Ye wat ba red wai tin ne na zikira
ile bukto da ba bitan
azikira ba yo kan
in mojin to utar kunai ko lurano selumutana duda kalam par
Okay, kala tuja rakam liwa tuja na dabam den der kani ba chalo dan te mayob ya. Tuja rasal. Wala mo gumo. Hello.
ai anta bai
Ay alela tin rakam liwa kan ba tuja. Rakam liwa kan liwa.
okay
Tin ba tuja rasal.
Okay, some of you are commenting that video and you expose the location. This video is in all over social media. Let's say media is not, we just grab that. And secondly, this is awareness. These soldiers are locked in, they are desperate, need help. Okay, so where is Dam? Where is Dam? The SSPDF. I heard that those soldiers that who are going through the river. Okay, where are they? I heard that they returned back. Okay, those boats, they went back. So what's going on here? So the situation, these people, they need help, and there's nobody help them. So the SPDF, you should serve these people. I heard that the government is talking to the United Nations, the UN, to go and rescue these people. But the UN helicopter went and they got shot, and then they returned back turning back where they are coming from. And these soldiers are stuck, and they need help. So how long are they going to survive in that camp? There's no food, no water. So, Majuk, do you want to weigh in on this before I move on to another video clip? So, yeah, Junobin, this, yeah, go ahead if you want to comment on this video clip before I move on. Okay, so my next one is about where some of you talk about the White Army is not civilians. White Army and Iowa are not connected. This video clip right here, I will play, and this will show you that the White Army is Iowa, and Iowa is White Army. Okay, this is not a civilian. This is a White Army joining with the Iowa. Listen to this video, and you judge for yourself. This evidence show you that the White Army is Iowa. And I will be playing the audio of the Iowa's leaders. Okay, I have them here. So for those of you who are campaigning hard, saying that these White Army are civilian, they are not connected with the IO, and they are not nothing connected with the this video. Let me play and listen to yourself. And this video today, Michael McCullough shared during a press conference.
Viva!
Viva!
Okay, that is the video, and you hear yourself. So they are sharing the slogan of Viva. Viva is a slogan of IO. So how come the White Army has civilians shade the White Army slogan as Viva, Viva? Okay. So, government, President Salva Kiir and Vice President Dr. Riek Machar, people are dying. The first Vice President, Dr. Riek, you guys having a peace, Adigono. You signed 8 years ago. At the same time, you guys are not parliamented the agreement the way that you guys signed it. You are using a civilians, White Army civilian, to fight your political war. You are staying in comfortable place in Juba, enjoy your life, and these civilians, you can see them, okay? You can see them, and you are using them with your political, and they're dying for your sake, for your name, IO. So what are you guys getting at? If you guys are not parliamented the peace agreement that you guys signed, don't hold the people of South Sudan hostage. How many more people will suffer and die? What happened in Nasir is something that is issues of 2013. Repeat itself again. And White Army, what is your future? You've been used as a tool for these political leaders in Juba. You are so young, you are dying for no reason. This video show about the celebration of White Army, what the That is the White Army celebrating when they captured Nasir. This video was captured today or yesterday.
The country.
Let me play the video from Ministry of Oil, Ministry of Port Kong. I'll play this video.
Why are these violations taking place and by who?
Well, thank you very much. I think recently we are all aware of changes which were done by His Excellency the President. He removed the governor of Western Equatoria, removed the Minister of Health without consultation with us in IO. He did not consult it with the leadership of IO. He took a unilateral decision, though the agreement said there must be consultation among the parties if there is need for something to happen. But on top of that, 5 minutes or 3 minutes after the removal of the governor, people went to his compound and attacked him. And you are aware that there was fighting in Western Equatoria, including the day before yesterday. There was fighting there. We also have a situation where troops are moving to Ulang, Nasir in Upper Nile State to go and attack civilians. And we are wondering, what do we want to achieve out of that? The agreement is very clear when it comes to movement of forces. If you want to move forces from where they were when the cessation of hostility was signed to any other location, it must be done in connection and monitored by CITISAM, which is not the case. The JDB agree 4 months or before the extension that there shall be deployment of necessary unified forces in Nasir, but the forces that are being taken there today are not necessary unified force. They are SSPDF. You also have a situation in Western Barghazel, something that we all agree that we shall remove all the checkpoints during the governors forum. But again, this is not done by the JDB now. A unilateral decision was taken. And you are aware that there was also fighting in Western Barghazel. So this is basically to say, it is unfortunate that these things are happening and that we would have avoided them for the sake of peace. We would have come to this extension with our hearts open and try to do what we are supposed to, particularly the unification of forces, have the permanent constitution, do any other thing like what is mentioned earlier by Dr. Martin, things that are supposed to be done, do them so that we take the country to election come December 2026.
Okay. Honorable Potkang, once again, you have said that there are issues in Ulang, Nasir County of Upper Nile State. There are challenges or insecurity right now in Western Equatoria State. There are problems in Western Baharagaza State. And these are the symptoms which is not looking nice for the people of South Sudan who would wish to see a peaceful and prosperous South Sudan. Are the parties, live along the JDB, the military, are the parties talking to each other right now in order to resolve these challenges? And do you think dialogue is very important at this crucial time to diffuse the tension?
Thank you once again. Yes, the parties, I don't want to lie to myself that the parties are talking to themselves. The day His Excellency the President was going to Ethiopia, His Excellency the first Vice President, after he bid farewell to the President
at the airport here.
At the airport here, he requested the security leaders from the advisor, Minister of Defense, the chief of staffs of both SSPDF and IO, the MI, the national security on both sides. He requested them to accompany him to his office so that they can have a discussion. When they arrived there, fighting started in Nasir. The Minister of Defense requested that give us a chance to go back and so that we manage this from Bill Farm and then we meet tomorrow. They agreed to meet on Saturday. On Saturday, nobody showed up. First Vice President, the next day sent me to His Excellency Vice President, Dr. Benjamin Bulmel, to go to him and say, look, there is need for us to have discussion around this so that we bring the situation back to normalcy, which I did. And I went to him, I informed him. He promised that he will reach out to the President and that people will have a chance to talk. That did not materialize. Until yesterday morning, His Excellency the First Vice President wrote a letter to His Excellency the President explaining the situation and requesting for a meeting so that people may have a discussion. I would say from our end, we want dialogue. We are ready for dialogue. We would want this situation arrested so that it does not escalate. I wanted to mention that what is happening in Upper Nile, it is bigger and it is happening in a very heavy way. And if not arrested, the results are not desirable. And I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want to to bring fear to our people. But I basically wanted to say that civilians are being targeted because your badges, 2 big badges, are moving to Nasir in the river. You have 2 gunships stationed in Malakal, moving to Nasir, and you can imagine what the result will look like if at all that is something to go for. So us having a discussion around this is important.
You have every right to come and attend because they are the situation. Thank you. Of course, you have every right.
My next video is Honorable Michael McCullough. Today will give a briefing regarding about what happening. So you guys gonna listen to him about what happening, what happened, and what is way forward. So those of you are commenting, I see Civic Kong. I see your comment. You know, if nobody can celebrate the deaths of human beings. Even though you said that you killed 7,000 people, okay? So, which is not true. There's no 7,000 the White Army killed. So even you cannot celebrate the deaths of human beings. So let us be. And before I play the Michael McCullough's press conference, let me bring this video up.
And the noise, my friend.
This is late Dr. John Garang. Some of you, the issues going on in Junub Sudan, you guys say that this issue is between Nuer and Dinka, okay? Even the forces that are in Nasir as we speak, they are not Dinka alone, they are combined Nuer and its support tribe are in that government. So let us stay away from these tribals division. Okay, listen to Garang, John Garang during the movement time, what he said regarding about the Gabila between Nuer and Dinka.
Nuers, my friend, are not the government. We are talking about responsibility of government. The Dinkas and Nuers are societies. And so if they raid each other, that does not excuse the government to sponsor. They don't enslave themselves, and even if they enslave themselves, there is no moral equivalence here of individuals abducting each other, and the government is sponsoring.
Okay. So you hear from John Garang. The government is for the people and by the people, and then it will not be labeled this government is a Dinka government or this is a whatever government. No. Government is belong to every citizen. And the government is responsible for the life and protect the life and property for the citizen across the board. But now what we are taking this country to the state that division among a tribal line, that's what is going on. So the leaders are using you, White Army, okay, to fight their political war. So let me move out from there. I'm going to say a lot regarding, but then let me play the press conference.
The situation. Thank you very much for coming in time, despite the short notice. Of course, you have every right to come and attend because the situation here in South Sudan. You were longing for a briefing so that you are updated, so that you inform the public of what is happening. As you know very well, on the 28th of February, I briefed you here about what happened on the 27th, about the letter of the first vice president, which was sent to the office of the president, and it went to the social media before time. That I had briefed you on all that happened. And based on that letter, the president, and as I told you earlier, that that meeting will still hold. The meeting was called by His Excellency the President on the 3rd of March. That was the day for yesterday. It was called the day for yesterday on the 3rd of March, and the meeting was attended by the president, the first vice president, and Vice President Josephine, and Vice President Bolmel, first Vice President Bolmel, and the security advisor, plus members or representatives of the political parties in agreement. It was also attended by the civil society. You must have seen Edmond Yakani talking. In that meeting, we deliberated on the security situation and on the political situation. And specifically, this time the talk was about the situation in Nasir. In Nasir and Ulang counties. You know very well, Ulang and Nasir counties are in Upper Nile State. They are in the eastern part of Upper Nile State. And as a result, we had a series of discussions, and the discussions concentrated around the White Army. As you know very well, there was that wild rumor, misinformation, that the army which was moving in the boats was going to Nasir to go and disarm the White Army. In that discussion, that was refuted, and it was clarified that these forces are not going for any disarmament, but going to relieve the forces that have been in Nasir for long. And this is a normal military situation, whereby a force is sent for any This was the situation. In our talk, the IO denied knowledge or responsibility for the White Army, because we were saying, this White Army, your force, it is, we know it a long time ago, before the agreement, it is one of your forces. That is a militia or a support force under your command. So please take care of these forces. Instead, they were denying responsibility. However, they promised that they will talk about the force. This agreement was reached, and as you must have seen in the social media on the 3rd, when we talked, myself, and Yakani, we talked about the resolutions should be allowed to go and relieve their brothers and sisters in Nasir. Now, after that meeting, the opposite happened. The opposite of talking to the forces, to those forces which are called the White Army, the army, the White Army decided to Nasir. And by the morning, they had already captured it, and there was only left a commander plus some of his forces that were in the tanks. These people have been now in us, but of the forces, these forces, LMAIO denies now, have proved to us that they are not White Army only, but they are SPLMAIO. You might have come across a video here where they have shouted IO. When I say SPLMOye, it means that IO Viva, 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 it means that what? I'm a member.
Thank you to the audience. Thank you for joining this platform to meet yourself, Abraham. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining this platform to come and share your thoughts in regard to the unfortunate incident that is ongoing in our country, and most especially in 3 locations of South Sudan. And the deadly locations is Nasir, that is Upper Nile State, the one of Equatoria, and then subsequently the western Bahar Ghazal. So all
Majo, we cannot hear you. Majo, we cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry. Am I clear now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I was saying, fellow citizens, we have diverse understanding of the situation at hand. And all of us, we are familiar with such situations in the country. None of us is new to this. Secondly, we are all aware of these incidences that they will happen. Since 2013, there has been no single year that South Sudanese has never spilled the blood. And there is no single year that the leadership of revitalized peace agreement has ever disappointed us not to be fed with the blood of innocent citizens of that country. But let me try to share my thoughts in regard to the issue of Nasir. This issue of Nasir has only been going for the last 2 weeks at most, when it is really intense and we are hearing guns and people are dying.
Okay.
Closely to 1 month, but our government in Juba decided to give a deaf ear into the incident. We have seen numerous letters written, around 2 letters written by the IO, of which one surfaces on social media, requesting the presidency to convene a meeting in order to discuss and address the issues. And the one which they cited in that document that they wrote, the first letter, which they actually failed to publish it on social media. We don't know whether it was true or it's just for them to be politically correct. The issue of Nasir, you have listened to the different audio or the different voices which were played by Abraham Adit, of which I give thanks to him for always downloading such information and share it with us. Because sometimes we may be misled by misinformation and disinformation, which have really caused our society dearly. And all of us, we should sometimes be slow in how to approach this thing if we don't have evidence and fact at hand. The first thing we were told the issue was about IO. Some of us, the Revitalized Peace Agreement, we are familiar with it. The government rejected the two armies in the same country, which was actually accepted, and then it resulted to J1 dogfight. Then afterwards, they learned through that mistake, and they say we should be having one command. And under one command, they will be having this chapter, that is chapter 2, which talk about security arrangements. These security arrangements are taken for almost, now we are heading to 10 years, almost close to a decade. Government is trying to implement that, and they have not even achieved half of chapter 2. In 2022 to 2023, we were lied to by the current ambassador of Kuwait, Honorable Tutka Galwak. He came out publicly after they have actually extended their term in what they branded and called roadmap. He came out 1 week after the roadmap was endorsed successfully, and citizens did not say anything about that. They gave them benefit of doubt. And then they came out and told us publicly that the chapter 2 has actually begun, and we have integrated and unified forces currently, which means the SSPDF and the IO forces were integrated, and they became under one umbrella, that is SSPDF. And fortunately, it has been proven to be wrong. If we look at the political space, and while people were moving toward the end of roadmap, then the roadmap came to an end, and they have not even implemented single thing. The IO requested that we are not ready for elections. And the SPLM, we have seen it, conducting rallies everywhere, Central Equatoria, that is Equatorial region and Barkazar regions, endorsing the president. And at last, they came to term that we have to extend it for another 2 years. That was 24 months, which was actually proposed by the SPLM-IO, and government accepted that. The reason was to implement Chapter 2 in fully, and also talk to the peace, the whole out group, which were recently named as UPDA, that is United People's Alliances, which resulted to Tumaini Peace Initiative in Nairobi. SPLM-IO has been at the front line rejecting and sabotaging this peace talk in Nairobi. Nobody knows the agenda. They went back, the delegation, the government delegation, which were committed to make sure this peace comes to reality. They went back behind the Nairobi Corporation and told him that these people want to have another different agreement. Then President Kir very naively came out with his usual degree and changed the whole delegation and trusted the people that has been seen publicly rejecting, sabotaging the peace talk in Nairobi without questioning what is the agenda. So this is the agenda. Why the IO has been constantly rejecting the peace talk in Nairobi. This was the agenda to why the IO has been requesting several extensions. Now the 5th and the 6th extension is loading. And now they're planning it perfectly, that we should be having another extension. They don't want us to go for an election, and this is the fact. Whether you are supporting IO, whether you are supporting IG, all of them are not for the best interest of South Sudan as the country. They are not for the best interest of citizens of that country. After all that happened, President Kir visited Middle East, negotiating deals of oil revenue and all that. He returned back to Juba And the rumors we were circulating on the street of social media and the tea places in Juba, President Kiir endorsed them and confirmed them to be reality by appointing Dr. Benjamin Bolomel to be vice president, replacing Dr. James Wan-Ega, and reinstating back to the previous position of Secretary General of the SPLM. This also sent a clear message that the whole government of revitalized peace agreement is not willing to lead us into peaceful transitions which end in democratic elections. On that very day, or 10th of February, President also relieved 2 positions personnel, which were actually from the IO, the governor of Western Equatoria, and the Minister of Health at the national level. We have seen the protests of IO. They came out publicly protesting that the president has made a unilateral decision without consultation. And we have seen this in several occasions. IO always come out when anything touches them. But when anything touches any part of the agreement or the stakeholders, they went muted and they always keep quiet. Which means they believe whatever thing President Kiir is doing with his degree to disadvantage other citizens of the country is none of their business. And if anything knocks the door of IO, then they start coming out saying, referring to the agreement, that we are committed, we are here to revitalize the agreement or to implement the agreement, this chapter has not implemented, and all that. All this game, we have seen it and we have watched it very carefully and very keenly. And if you think that these people are doing any good for us, then I can say without fear of contradiction that you are stupid. Because these guys, they are not doing anything for the benefit of the people of South Sudan. If I may pose a question to all of you,
on the issue of
what is the reason for these people to die? What is the reason for them? The National Army, which were being butchered as a selective killing, sort of revenge and tribal selections. The White Army that might have fallen short in the hand of National Army. What claimed their life, to be honest, if we sit down and ask ourselves, was it necessary for them to die? Were they defending which country? Were they defending which territory? I'm seeing people here writing nonsense that they're defending their land. From who? For God's sake, they're defending their territory from who? Our territory here being encroached in Eastern Equatoria, in Western Equatoria and Central Equatoria, by even Congo, by Kenya, by Ethiopia, by Uganda, and we are always muted. We are not even talking about it. Now, if we are seeing government trying to position and station its national army, which they call integrated army, but it has turned out to be crystal clear that there were no army that was integrated from the beginning. The statement from Ambassador Tutka Galwa Minime was basically political propaganda to blindfold us as South Sudanese and start falling into the scamming game that actually our leaders are implementing the agreement. But in actual sense, they were not implementing anything. The agreement of which IO is referring to for the last few days is dead. People are saying it's at the ICU. It's no longer even there. It's already dead. It has been buried. People are celebrating on the grave of that agreement. And the celebration on the grave of the agreement resulted to the life of innocent, naive, and semi-literate White Army and the National Army. That is South Sudan People's Defense Force. To be very honest, there are some things that make us sad and make us tears as South Sudanese. I have been questioning myself for the last few days. Is there a reason why these people should die? Are they protecting Dr. Riek's seat? Are they protecting President Kiir's position? What are they claiming life for? Completely, it trickled down to one thing. Our politics has really been run on ethnic line. people are looking at each other at the tribal basis. SSPDF, Nuer, or Nas Nation, and other people who are not happy with the Dinka tribe, they don't see SSPDF as a national army. They see it in the eyes of tribal language. And this is what claimed the life of these people. These people would have died defending our territory and our sovereignty of the country against another country. For us to celebrate them and call them heroes. Even if you say the few Red Army who have been killed or 1,000 who have been killed are heroes, if you are from supporting them, then you are too naive to call them heroes. Because there was no reason from the first place for them to die. The SSPDF too, you cannot call them heroes. For what? What have they achieved? Nothing. And what were they fighting for? According to my own understanding, and I stand here to be corrected by anybody in this platform, what killed these people is miscommunication, lack of coordination, and lack of political guidance from our presidency. And when I say presidency, I mean the 6 individuals that are running that position in the country. Start from President Kiir to the last man, that is Taban Denga or Rebecca Nyande, according to the hierarchy. These people failed to coordinate, sit, and send a very clear message when they were actually sending the troop of SSPDF to Upper Nile, and most especially to the barrack in Nasir. They did not do that. And that is the reason why these people died. IO, in their own naivety, believe that if they trigger that war to go on, then the agenda is almost to be achieved. The agendas are only 2 things, 3 things. Number 1, they want to continue looting because they're in their positions. Number 2, they want to buy time because if they go for election, automatically they will go home. This bureaucratic, useless government will go home. Over 600 MPs, upper house and lower house will go home. And we will remain with the lenient government, reasonable government. The government selected or elected by South Sudanese. And they don't want that. Whether you are MP at the state level, whether you are commissioner at the county level, all of them, they don't want elections. Because all of them are not clean. And they will be sent home by the people they claim to be representing them. This is the agenda number 1. Agenda number 2, they want to interrupt the peace talk in Nairobi because they are inside the house. They don't want other people outside to come in. What gives them fear that if other opposition group outside come in, then something will not happen the way they expected? Why? What gives them that fear? Number 3, they want to buy time for election to be extended because 2026 is in the corner. We may assume it's like another 5 years ahead, but they don't want that. And the next extension is 2 ways. It's either they will extend it through barrel of guns, either the coup d'etat, or Kiir will extend it using his own powers and the degrees. He can degree anybody that he wishes to be a president of the country and do away with any vice president. And if that happens, then the war will be there. These are the 2 things IO is intended to do alongside the IG, which they always run games left and right. Now their game is almost achieved. They are now coming out, crying, calling international community, and the people, the number of people that have died, to be very honest, will be regrettable by the government of South Sudan for the next 10 years. Because those men, something will need them in the future. The IG, on the other hand, is too naive and commit himself or itself to degrees on daily basis. After President Kiir returned, the man has been on degrees hunting. Every day, he must release degree. Forgetting that something is burning in Upper Nile and in Nasir It was last week in this very room of Abraham Ade, South Sudan Eagle Meeting. There's somebody from NAS, called himself NAS Stock Nuer. He stated very clearly, after I questioned him, do you believe White Army is fighting for the interests of Nuer and the tribe? The man stated very clearly that there is no line between White Army and the Nuer. We are one thing. And if you are judging White Army, make sure you are judging Nuer. The man said these people are doing the best interest for the Nuer by protecting the land of Nuer because Dinka is going there to occupy that land. And when you listen to such individuals who claim to be Nuer intellectuals, you regret why John Garang sent such individuals to Western world to be termed as lost boys. They are even tarnishing the name of lost boys. And that was not a mission to why Dr. John Garang had that idea and accepted by the Western world. Now it became so clear that the White Army is no longer civilian as we perceive to be. It is crystal clear these people are parcel and part of the SPLM-IO army, which means they are still under Dr. Riek Machar command. And if they don't listen to Machar command, then whom do you think they will listen to their command? On that very day, this room, I gave one announcement that this White Army, either independent army or civilians, as they term them to be, then there could be people behind them. There are those who are using them to drive their political agenda home. And I was thinking these people who are driving them were thinking of two things. They were thinking government of South Sudan has become so wise to neutralize warlord in Upper Nile region. And this warlord in the person of Johnson Oloit. The second person is Simon Gatwich Dwar. The government made a very quick and very urgent peace deal with these individuals, reward them with thousands, millions of dollars. And some of them are pending, waiting to be assigned to their duties. And some has already been assigned by Johnson Oloit. So maybe those who are driving White Army have seen that as an opportunity for them also to have a good negotiation with the government, using these very illiterate, naive civilians, as they call them, which has become today that they are actually part of SPLM-IO army. Once they establish such warriors, then the government will approach them. So this was my thinking. Until today, my thinking was proven wrong, that these people were not even being actually driven by anybody apart from IO themselves. You have listened to the speech or the remark of Port Khan. This young man has allowed himself to be used adequately by Dr. Riek for his own benefit. And if you have seen members of SPLM-IO who are here, this man has been trusted by Dr. Riek more than elders who were in the SPLM-IO, plus another boy from Dinka tribe, which was sent to Nairobi to represent SPLM-IO. These are kids. These are kids. One of them is even less than 32 years old. And I'm pretty sure what comes around later 30-something. These are our age mates. But Dr. Riek captured them because they are too naive, they are greedy, they need money, they want to position themselves that they are the best young men in our country running political arena. They can accept anything that Riek tells them to do. You have heard from him that what is happening in Nasir is very deadly, is dangerous, and the results are not desirable. Which means if you look at the adjective that you have used, and the tenses are not desirable, which means the guy had full information before yesterday's deadly fight. After they have captured and dislodged the SSPDF, all of you have seen the celebration. Even Salatin, which we regard to be the basis of our traditional law, are running with this white army in town celebrating. On the government side, it is a total humiliation, it is a total embarrassment, it is so obnoxious and lugubrious anybody could not entertain. For a certain small army, which was branded as civilian army, captured the center of the national army and kill 1,000 of them to the extent of them celebrating. That sends you a clear message that we don't have army at South Sudan. What we have are malnourished individuals that has been humiliated. Their families are suffering. They don't even have anything to eat. Their kids are dying. Their kids are not going to school by the same government which they are dying for. Literally, we have been enslaved mentally by this very government of Dr. Riek and President Kiir. If anything happens now between South Sudan and Ethiopia, or South Sudan and Sudan, whether you like it or not, South Sudan will be overrun within a month. Because we have no manpower. Our manpower is being used adequately by these political greedy leaders to protect their own interests. They're dying every day, every day, every day. Fellow citizens, we need to think twice. If you are not disappointed by this incident, then you are heartless and you will never be disappointed again. Sleep at night, wake up at 1 or 2 a.m. and ask yourself, why are these people dying? Whether White Army, whether SSPDF, and other civilians that might have been caught at the crossfire. Why are they dying? The properties that might have been destroyed. Why? What is it for? You will realize that we are doomed and we have been misused adequately by these leaders. To conclude my remark, so that I could allow that some of you who are down here to come up and challenge our discussions in a sober manner, using logic and the senses that you have, 6 of them as human beings and other citizens of that country. Our leaders have chosen to neglect the best interests of the country. The choice is up to you as the citizens. You either continue following them and you will continue dying for the next 15 years until God will decide to call one of these leaders. And if God call any of them while still in power, then remember they will not die alone. There is this thing they used to tell us during our childhood, that they will, when and Monjur die, Monjur is somebody that does not know the language of Dinka. That's how Dinka always term them. They call them Jew. Even Kawaja, they call him Jew. And the Jew which they were referring to were actually our brothers from Equatoria. That once Monjur want to die at his last breath, and they asked him to make his wish. One man always said that for me, I cannot wait for anything. The only thing that I wish for is for all of us to die at once. In Dinka, they say it as the same policy and analogy is being deployed by our leaders. If any of them die today, God forbid, while in the power, then 1,000 people will die with him on that very day. Because we are so much attached onto them rather than being attached to our country. That's why we are dying. That's why we are using a very toxic language on social media to fuel what is happening in the country. You either make a critical choice as the citizens of that country, or you continue on that path. And we will still have now seen independent up to now. We are now going to almost 15 years since we gain independence. And we will continue for the next 15 years. We will be having 30 years of internal conflict. Now I'm seeing two things happening. The White Army might get support from these terrorists of Sudan. Because Sudanese, in their mind, are not happy for South Sudan to be stable. It is their wish for South Sudan to be destabilized and end up like Sudan, having two separate governments. And now we are not having different with the Congo, and we are not having different with Ethiopia. Not even Ethiopia, we are not having different with Somalia. Nasir as a county is under different government as we speak. Let's not lie to ourselves that there are some directive orders being given by Yak and all that. No, that is the nonsense. Whoever commanding the forces on the ground, I don't think it does even listen to Yak, but he can listen to the money sent to him by Yak. He can receive that money. He can receive any financial aid or any equipment aid from Riyadh, but he cannot listen to the directive from Riyadh. Because Riyadh knows he is in the middle of the government of South Sudan. And if something of that kind happens, he will be the victim at the end of the day. And he don't want to do that. So he may receive support from Sudan. And on the other hand, they might receive support from Ethiopia. Because all these neighbors of ours, none of them is happy to see us behaving as brothers in South Sudan, and more especially the Nuer and the Dinka. You, these two tribes, you have subjected the country which all of us will never forget. And our children also will be victims. If you are in the Western world and you celebrate, one day your child will go to South Sudan for visitation. And God forbid, nobody knows. He might be confronted at the airport with a gun. We are not safe. All of us, we are not safe. If we celebrate that we, White Army, we have destroyed, we have killed the Dinka, don't celebrate. You will be a victim tomorrow. If you celebrate, you are from SSPDF or you are from Dinka, and I know no Dinka is celebrating. Even me, as I speak to you now, some relatives of mine are no longer with us because of that senseless war. We are not safe. We are not safe. We are not safe. We either make decision or we continue in that path. Thank you. And I stand to be corrected, and you are all entitled to your opinions. And God bless you. And I keep praying for those people who are still breathing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe Makur, for a wonderful. Yes. Oh, thank you, Majok, for wonderful input. Absolutely, you are touch everything that happening in the country and the current crisis that the country is in, because the way we are seeing things now, they're heading to the really bad direction. The death of these people in Nasir is really a sad moment when you can see the, like, whether they're deaths from White Army or SSPDF, this is a loss of life. And one of the things that I was so upset, the majority is people, when I'm seeing people are celebrating, whether in Clubhouse, even here, people are commenting. So it's really sad seeing that people are celebrating for the death of other human beings. Okay. And it is that, and it's really a really sad thing that our people, they reach into this extent for kill one another, and then people are praised and celebrated. Let us give other people a chance, people who are coming in. Jock, you are next. Go ahead if you want to weigh in.
Yeah, but as Madid,
Yeah, so go ahead.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me like a 10 minutes, out because I'm here in Boston with somebody. Boston, let me step out in the restaurant. Give me 10 minutes, okay?
Okay, sound good. Let me.
I'm from Dallas, Texas, but I just got here.
Okay, sound good. Thank you, Joe. Okay. Let me move to G. G, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. خليني أسلم عليكم كلكم وأقدم تعزية بداية للأسر بتاع الناس اللي ماتوا في ناصر من كل طرفين. لكن يا مجيد قبل ما أنا أخش في أشارك وأقول رأيي في المسائل اللي بيحصل خليني أشارككم في حاجة هنا في الميديا about الدول الفقيرة اللي هم دلوقتي بلدنا بيقى واحد منهم. I need a new iPhone. iPhone cleaner to the rescue. Clean from 153 days. Scan your phone and clean it up. It's okay, مو يلاقي. يعني بديت أنا كان نجي روم بتاعك ده because يعني مرات ألقى نفسي إنه ممكن أشارك. وربنا يباركك وأنا بشكر ربنا من أجل مجوك اللي هو اتكلم شوية. أنا باخد الموضوع ده من جانب تاني أديني فرصة شوية.
تفضل معي مستر.
أنا بقولكم إنه اللي قاعد يحصل للشعب بتاعنا المشكلة اللي جاي من الكويت. طبعا ما في حاجة بيحصل إلا ربنا يسمع فيها بين اللي يحصل لمجده، لكن مش إنه بكرهنا. أنا شعرت كثير في الروم بتاعك ده إنه يوم من الأيام بلدي كان يكون كويس، لكن عشان يكون كويس بنمر في ظروف صعبة شوية لغاية ما بكرة نذكر إنه بلد ما بيبقى كويسين. يعني الناس موجود قبل شوية يتكلم كلام كثير أنا ما داير أمشي فيه. الناس اللي قاعدين يموتوا أكثر موت هسه ياو في ناصر. ودائما ربنا بيسمع بانه الياس الضربه ربما شعب بتاعي بفوق. انت عارف لما جودوا الناس اللي قاعدين تحت بلد ده لما لقيناه نانو دفعنا 2 مليون بلس، وربنا ساعد ورسل عيال بتاعه اللي هم وقفوا معنا لانه نحن مظلومين ونستحق الحريه. وانتم عارفين انه امريكا ده ممكن يجي في امريكا يا مدينه، امريكا وقف معنا، ولما وقف معنا ده كنيسه ضغط على الحكومه بتاعه انه اخواننا ما بنسمع نحن دوله قويه اخواننا يستعمروا. وربنا استخدمهم لغايه ما ضغط حاصل وصلنا للريفرندوم. لما وصلنا الريفرندوم انتم شايفين انه حاجه دي انقلبت والقيادات بتاعنا بقى زي كانوا ما الناس الناظمه. وما في حاجه بيحصل ساكت الا له سبب. ربنا عنده خطه شال قرن في 21 يوم. كان سلفا كير يجي. وسلفا كير شارك يا جنوان وشارك حرب التحرير. وجوده في الحكم ما في زول عنده دنينا فيها. لانه راجل شبعان الظلم بتاع وقع على الشعب بتاع جنوب السودان. اللي بيحصل دلوقتي في قيادة سلفا كير كل زول ما مصدق. العالم كله وقف معنا يا مدينة. عبر الأعظم عايزين القيادات بتاعنا مشوا للروم. ولأول مرة في تاريخ ربما قبل ما يولدونا حصل، لكن لما ولدونا لقاء يوم الليلة ما شفنا إنه قاعدة كنيسة ركعت وحاجة اللي عملوا مسيح عملوا للقيادات. الشعب يقول لهم انا ببوس رجليكم امشي اعملوا صلاه الشعب ده كلكم انتوا شفتوه ربنا بيحبنا وده رساله من ربنا. القيادات بتاعنا لما نجوا راجعين من هناك عملوا شنو عملي؟ في رايات دقيقه هو خلوا كلام الحاصل في روم خلوا في روم. انا اشوف القروش الميزانيه طلعوا عشانهم يشروا. الناس على انفسهم مش روم ليه؟ ولما رجعوا عملوا شنو؟ ده واحد. عبر العظم جاء من روم وجاء جوبا. لما شاف انه رسالته ما اخذوها. نفس الشيء. عملوا سلام للشعب بتاعكم. بتاع كنتبري. بتاع اسبوعيه. بتاع مشيخي هم الثلاثه اللي اول مره في التاريخ يتلموا في بينهم. عشان يعدسوا قيادات جنوبيه انه عملوا سلام لبلدكم. هم مساعدين انه يدعمونا. ده من رسول ده ربنا. ايمانويل قال انا رسول الله دعوه كذا مره لما اصلي ربنا يقول ما تمشي ما تمشي ما تمشي. في النهايه قال لي امشي. قال انا ما لقيت طياره لانه ما في تامين. لما نجي جوبا قال شنو يا مدي؟ قال انا جايكم برساله واحد من ربنا انه الدور ده لو هاي دي تكرر مش هيمشي بالسلام. ده رساله جابوا ايمانويل. قيادات بتاعنا عملوا شنو؟ ما عملوا اي حاجه. طيب مديد اتفاقيه بتاع 15 سنه بتاع 2015 ما مشي. نحن شاكلنا 2013 شاكلنا 2016 عشان شنو؟ انت ما قادر تفهم. اوكي؟ ما قادر تفهم. ليه بنقتل انفسنا بعد السلام مع الشمالي بعد الاتصال؟ انت ما قادر تفهم. نحن ببساطه بتاعنا قسمونا كل زول واقف وراء زول بتاع قبيله بتاعه. وهم كسياسيين ما ماشي ما مقدمنا قدام ولا خطوه. ونحن بقلب كويس بنشجع فيه. مديد قالوا خلينا نرجع نقعد ثاني. مشوا قعدوا ثاني وخرطوم. اتفاقيه 18 شعب قاعد تموت. ما في تنميه. ما في مرتبات. القرى بقى فاضي. مدن بقى مليان ناس. نانو الدول الجوار بقى مليان شعب بتاع جنوب السودان. وقيادات موجود جنوبيين ما شماليين جنوبيين. ومو جنوبيين بس جنوبيين اللي حاربوا الشماليين. مديد هم عملوا لنا شنو؟ بنوا لنا مستشفيات، فتحوا لنا طرق، بنوا لنا مدارس، عمروا لنا القرى. كل ما جان قال الخلاء وجلابه نحن جينا دمرناه. مين الملام هنا؟ انت كدنكاوي اللي ما عندك جمل ولا ناقه، انا كشلكاوي اللي ما عندي جمل ولا ناقه، النوراوي البسيط اللي ما عندي جمل ولا ناقه، البلومهم هم القيادات. اللي في يدهم القلم بجروه، اللي في يدهم المفتاح بتاع البيت، اللي في يدهم السلاح. مثلا مفتاح السلاح. ونحن ما جايبين خبر من اللوم في انفسنا. انا زعلان منك يا مجد انت دنكاوي، انت زعلان مني ده انا شلكاوي، انا زعلان مني ده انا نوراوي. وكلنا جالهم كله برا شغالين في شركات مشغولين بانه يعملوا شركات، مشغولين انه يمسكوا اماكن اللي فيه مينرال. ونحن هنا بنشاغل ده ولدنا وده مننا ده فينا. وما مودينا هي اوكي. لما جابوا اتفاقيه ما اصله ما في حاجه بيحصل بين الاثنين لو حاربوا الا لازم يقعدوا ويتفقوا على حاجه. رئيس براو قال ده عملوا عشان ما يطبقوا. طيب مديد انا بس على الناس الموجودين كلهم. رئيس الفا ممشي بلد ده بشنو؟ لانه الاتفاقيه ده ما عملوا عشان ما يطبقوا. طيب هم ممشي بلد بشنو؟ وهنا بنقول قاعد نطبقوا في اتفاقيه وبيقول انه اتفاقيه جابوا عشان ما يطبقوا وبقول نحن قاعد نطبق في اتفاقيه يا مدي. الناس ما عادوا في 2030 ما كفايه انه يقولوا اللي بيحصل ده ما نحن يوم مسؤولين منه خلاص منه. الناس ما عادوا في 2060 الناس ماتوا على النيل ده مساو. اوكي ناس جو من جنجلة خطوا طريق مشى قتلوا لك ناس من شمال على النيل ما في زول في جنب. ناو يا مدي شوف ربنا قال لجرمايا يا جرمايا انت وموسى وسامويل لو جيت وصليت وانا ما بسمع الصوت بتاعك ولا ترجوني. قالوا خلوا الشعب ده خلينا نعاقبه لان انا رسلت عبيد بتاعي قال ما في زول سمع خالص. ومشكله كمان هم قتلوه. مدي في وقت صلوات ما بينفع في وقت صلوات ما بينفع. ربنا قال انا كويس ما كويس ملاوت قال انا ملتوي. تعرف ملتوي معنا ما ممكن يتعدل يعني ربنا ما بيستمر يعني يعنسك بيديك مهله لو ما انت ما سميت بيضربك ضربه خفيف ما سميت بتاكل ضربه ما سميت لقاعد ما في نيه ممكن يجي الفداء. انا اتكلمت كثير يا مدي شعبنا البموت ده الناس المعرفة في الناصر ده في سبب ان يموتوا ما في سبب. هل الموت في الناصر ده هيجيب راس قيادات يقولوا هنا في هنا مش هيحصل لان ما في بالهم. هم راكبين ناس السيارات وشركاتهم شغال ويالهم برا هم خايفين على اساس لو خلينا العنايه ده شركات بتاعنا ده هيشيلوا وقروش الجمعيه كلها هيشيلوا. مجيد من المغفل نحن المغفلين يا شعب الجنوب انتوا يا مغفلين انتوا بتدافعوا عن الناس هم ما في بالهم. انا سميت العنايه اللي انت عملته قبل شويه مجيد بتاع القائد في الدباب ما قادرين يلعبوها ما قادرين يلعبوها وقاعد هناك باسم الحكومه ولما جاء المشكله هارب وشاكل من اجل البلد. وين البلد هو بشاكل من اجل اذا حكومه ما قادر يلحق جندي بتاعه اذا حكومه قاعد يحارب مواطن بتاعه. اللي حصل في الناصر ده ما كان المفروض يحصل. يا اخي لما مشى حاكم على الدين قاعد مع نوير قاعد مع الجيش وقاعد مع حكومه ويعرف انه في غلط ماشي وجاء جاب الكلام لحكومه. حكومه طريقه العمل دلوقتي جاب الموت للناس. هل الناس الماضي من نوير والماضي من الجيش جاب نرجعهم؟ وبلد ما مليان يتام والارامل ما هو قاعد يلقطوا في شوارع يا مدين. الشعب بتاعنا يا كله في مخيمات في يوغندا كده. شوف اللي بيحصل لنا في الخرطوم. شوف الشعب بتاعنا في داخل الجنوب هم قاعدين في مخيمات في تهديدات الجوال. ونحن هنا بنقول في حكومه في حكومه في حكومه في حكومه. مجيد انا بترجاكم هنا في سيناء يا جماعه 200 نحن نتعلموا انه زول ما قاعد يعمل حاجه لنا. انا ما بشجع العمل جيش الابيض لكن هيحصل في شنو؟ هيحصل عند منو؟ ليه؟ لانه في جوبا ما فاضي لاي زول. انت عارف مثلا لما جو قاعد يحصل لشنو في تونجا انتم مش عارفين شنو عارف. ولو شنو رفع الصوت بتاعه وما في زول سمع هيعمل شنو؟ هياخذ هيحصل موت مش كده؟ هيحصل في اي مكان هيحصل عندك في بارغزال. ونحن هنا بنقول في انتخابات وفي ديفيد يا مجهود والناس اللي انتم موجودين ده تكتب على الناس كل مره، الناس هيتعلموا. قبل ايام انا عملت اسامشن، انا قلت اللي بيحصل ده كله حكومه دار يلغي اتفاقيه رسمي، دار يلغي اتفاقيه، لانه ما في باله انه يعمل اتفاقيه مع اي زول. ارجع الناس اللي عملوا معه اتفاقيه يا عمدو، والله القاعد ده بعد سنتين عشان طلع من جوبا عندهم مهمه، قال بعد خمس يوم انا بطلع، قلت والله ما طلع الا بعد سنتين. لين يوم الليله ما طبق اتفاقيه اللي اتفقوا مع الله. شنو قاعد ينتظروا ل 200 هيجي بعد شويه، شنو قاعد يطلع من الصبر بتاعه، هيكسر الصبر بتاعه، الناس هيقول. مشاكل اللي انتم شايفين في اكواتوريا، في بحر غزال، ناس بمروا ب 20 ب 30 ب 40، ونحن نقول في حكومه في جوبا، اللي بغير الحكومه هو الشعب، لكن الشعب ذاته ما بيعرف حقوقه. الشعب ما بيعرف حقوقه، لان حكومه في جوبا لا لاكواتوريا ولا لبحر غزال ولا لعلى فيها معين خط يدهم على المال ده بلد، خط يدهم على السلطه، خط يدهم على الصلاح، وقاعدين يلعبوا بالشعب في جنوب السودان. نحن الفيتنا اللي ننقص نوقف مساله انه مزيد من الرامل، مزيد من اليتامى. انت قبل شويه عملت الشريط بتاع جون جرام. يا جماعه ليه انتم ما تاخذوا خطابات بتاع جون جرام؟ ليه ما تاخذوها؟ الكلام اللي قاعد يصل ده كله جرام يتكلم فيها. ان الحكومه ما بيعمل تنميه، الشعب يجيب له بحر يرميها فيها. ونضحك على بعض، خلينا نعمل سلام، خلينا نعمل سلام، خلينا نعمل انتخابات، وهم شغل بتاعهم بس يمدوا المده، يمدوا المده، ومده بيمدوا ما في حد بيحصل، مده بيمدوا ما حد ما بيحصل، ونحن كمواطنين بنشاكل اللي بعض هنا في السناب. شعب في بحر غزال، شعب في على النيل، شعب في اكواتوريا، خطوا يديروا ويدفعوا. انتم اولاد الوطن قدمتوا دماءات وقدمتوا القيادات دي، وانتم دلوقتي القيادات دي ما قاعدين عشانكم، سواء كان تركاو ولا دنكاو ولا نويراو ولا لا. نوير هسه الرياض هيستفيد، قاعد يستفيد منه، هم مستفيدين من الرياض، وانتم كنتوا مستفيدين من سلفكير. نحن ده مستفيدين من منه، ما في زول مستفيد من اي قائد. يا كلهم برا بيقروا في المدارس، اوكي، يسكنوا في بيوت، والشعب في جنوب السودان قاعد يلقن في جوبا دي، قاعد يلقن. مدين مرات تقول يا جماعه ليه تتكلموا دنك اكثر ناس تعبانين؟ اوكي، قلت ليه دارين تلعبوا دنك ليه؟ لو انت عارفين هم اكثر ناس تعبانين، تدافع عن قيادات ليه؟ ها؟ حتى انا شركاوي دلوقتي اقول انه بحر غزال مشكله، وما في شنو في بحر غزال يا مدين؟ ما في حاجه في بحر غزال. ده الكلام اللي قالوا قبل كده، انه في الشماليه ما في اي حاجه. بنقول انه الشماليين هم اللي حاكمين السودان، لكن في الشماليه ذات غير البلد ما في اي حاجه. طيب حكومه في يد بحر غزال، هم عملوا شنو في بحر غزال؟ في شارع ماشي لبحر غزال، في مستشفيات، في مدارس، في شنو؟ ما في. شنو الفرق بين بحر غزال وعلى النيل؟ شنو الفرق بين بحر غزال وعلى النيل واكواتوريا؟ ما في. يا جماعه خليه يكون 2021 خليه يكون اخر سنه لتعب شعب جنوب السودان. انت عارف هسه من الدول الغنيه وفقيره جنوب السودان نمر واحد. هسه كنت قاعد اجيب الصوت ده عشان تسمعه. جنوب السودان نمر واحد. دول فيهم عندهم امكانيات على الارض، لكن في الفقر هم في جنوب السودان نمر واحد. مجيد ربنا يبارك. مرات انا بجي في الروم بتاعك، اوكي، وانا باخذ راحه بدايه الروم بتاعك، رغم انه انت ما متابع، ما مؤيد للنظام، لكن انا دائما قاعد انا ما ضعيف، انا ما ضعيف، الكل بتاعي ما ضعف، لانه فعلا قاعد يستغلوه. عشان يقول انه روم بتاع مدينه غير روم بتاع حكومه. لكن الانسان العاقل خليه يميز مدين والشعب الفوق ده كله. ربنا عمل بتاعه. البانشمنت هيستمر وموت هيستمر ما لم ترجعوا وتتوبوا وتقولوا الحق. ما قاعد تقولوا الحق خالص. أنا كل يوم بالرومات ما في روم قاعد يقول الحق. بيجي الروم بتاع أولاد بارغزال ما ولا فهموا منه شعب تعبان وفي أرامل وفي يتامى وفي إلا نظام بقى نظام. كم في روم بتاع النوير ضد النظام. كم في شلوك نفس العمل. لكن صار بيتكلم منه في كلام في هذا الكلام يا جماعة. المسؤول الأول والأخير في الديار الموجود ده هو سلفا كير. كرئيس نحن كلنا نعترفه كرئيس. إذا كان في تقدم الشرف ترجع لسلفا كير. إذا في إليات بلد سلفا كير هو الأول والأخير. وإذا في سنة سلفا كير اللي بيتسلف. ما في زول يسبس يعني يقول لسلفا كير إنسن. لو سلفا كير إنسن يخلي البلد ده ويطلع من السلطة. لأنه ما ممكن بلد تخرب وهو قاعد فيها كرئيس وبلد قاعد تخرب كل يوم بلد ماشي بعيد كل يوم قاعد ناس ماشي بالعذاب وقاعد في جوبا. تنشوف التصريحات بتاعه كله ما فاضل لأي زول. قتلوا أنفسكم. كيف بتاعنا بيعبرين بيه لسه قاعد على مرات لما قال الكلام ده عنده طلع في اسم شنو؟ انت قاعد في جي 1 لك قاعد في جي 1 كان يسمع بالجيش ما انت ده رمز الدوله. انت ما قاعد تمشي الدوله اطلع منه. انت ما مولود عشانه ولا نحن مولودين عشان نكون تحقيقك انت. ربنا اداك فرصه وانت ما قاعد تستثمر خليه. زي تتفاكر قدامنا انا جاي انا بقول ما لقيت ناس يشتغلوا الا ناس حراميه. انت قاعد تشيل من وزاره لوزاره لما نسال.
Yeah, Pastor, before you conclude, so we have a lot of people up here.
So,
I have a question. Yeah, I have a question.
I'm appealing toward South Sudanese.
Mm.
الانقسامات الموجودة ما من مصلحتنا ومو هيخلي زول. المشكلة كله في جيوان ده. نحن نقدر على سلفا كير فإنه يا من الاتفاق اللي عملوا ده يطبقوا البدر يطبقوا الصعب مش مشكلة. لكن ما ممكن تقول ما أشل 10 سنة ما قاعد تطبق اتفاقية وأنت تقول أنا قاعد أطبق اتفاقية وتقول اتفاقية ده عملوا ما عشان يطبقوها. خلينا كلنا نجي مع بعض يا جماعة. كلنا نجي مع بعض عشان ننقذ البلد ده. والخطاب بتاع الكراهية ده والتحيز ده نبطلوها. هنا في سيناء بكرة الليلة ما عندك ناس في ناصر بكرة هيكون في تنجة بعد بكرة في بارغزال بعد بكرة في رومبي بعد ونحن هنخلص بعد كده. هنا في سيناء. مدير أنت صاحب الروم إليس عندك الكثير تعمل عشان توجه الجماهير. خلي الخطاب ترجع خطاب كوحدة. وإذا كان عندهم واحد في نظام ده زول نظامي ده زول بابليك ما عنده علاقة بقبيلة. أنا أعجم سلفا كير لأنه رئيس بتاعي مش بيعجمه كشمكاوي ولا نويراوي بيعجمه كالرئيس بتاعي وأنا دي حق أتكلم ما في زول يزعل. الجيش بتاعنا ده ما عندهم لا مرتب ولا أي حاجة يا جماعة. نحن كشعب أن نغير النظام. نحن كشعب ممكن نجيب استقرار في بلدنا. نحن كشعب ممكن ننمي بلدنا. إذا نحن محتاجين لوحدة الصف لوحدة الكلمة من أجل مستقبل سعيد وأفضل وربنا يبارك.
شكرا جزيلا أبونا. You yet mentioned a lot of good stuff. This is, yes, unity. That's what we want. The unity of people, that's what we want. But you know, the kind of moment at this time, Pastor, is really a sad event to see that our people are still killing one another based on, like, if you can see, like, how many people die on the White Army side, how many people die on SSPDF side.
I'm ready. I was just in a restaurant in Boston area. I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Okay. So
I'm ready to talk. Thank you.
Okay, I will give you 2 minutes to go ahead. Say your word, Joe. Joe, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Brother Madin. What's going on in South Sudan? What I would like to say that actually I'm from Dallas, Texas. Now I just get to Boston. I'm here with my cousin in Boston area. What I would like to say that we are the Dinka people. We misled the killing to our citizens in Nasir is not acceptable. The Madrid. Sina was graduated in 1989 in Demo. Some of us, the military, including the communists, those who were in Dallas, Texas area in the port was. But what's going on, I see that it's between Nuer and Dinga. I will take the way I see it, even though my brothers can come and say that that's not a right way to go like that. Actually,
Hold on, Jock. Joseph, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Madin.
Yeah, Joseph, I want you to take over because my phone is dying, so I want to switch my other phone, so I will be mute on this side, but because I will control the studio, so just move the line, but I will be quiet.
Okay, but I'm not going to be here for long, huh? Maybe about 2 hours and then.
Yeah, 2 hours will be enough. Yeah, 2 hours will be enough. Yeah, and I will be ending the studio very soon. Yeah, in the next 20 minutes. Yep.
Continue, Jock.
yeah, thank you. I was in a command with somebody, my homeboy, and the guy is my enemy in my state, Jamhuri state, but by the way, I'm not go there for detail. So I would like to salute both of you, Joseph, Job, the communists, my comrade with training in Demo, judgment in the father, and then we got the big WYA, effective for us or Mundari. And this is Captain Job, a job. The truth must be said. My job, challenge Mangulandia, Nalkari. Find it in Mayadi to Kari to home on Nebraska. Nyanjatia can yan before Piet.
Okay, Doc.
So what's going on here?
Yeah, leave the personal information on the side.
Brother Moses. So when we try to go what's going on between the Nuer, is it just a Nuer and Dinka? That's a war. Yeah, Moses.
Jock, you don't know nothing about this. You out of topic. There's nothing here about Nuer. It's about the security situation in Nasir. I drop you down because Jock, you don't know what you're talking about. Before I move the line, Pastor Peter Mayum, welcome to the room. أنا سمعت كلامك كله. بس ده أنا قلت لك في دقيقة بس ولا دقيقتين. في الكلام اللي قبل أنت قلت خلاصة كلامك الكثير اللي أنت قلته ده كله كويس مقبول. كل زول طبعا عنده رأي بتاعه، روم بتاع مديد طبعا. أي زول ويلكم. بأيديا بتاعك. انت سواء انت بتأيد حكومه، انت ضد حكومه، انت شنو، لكن انت قلت حاجه كبيره مهمه، انت قلت اللي بغير النظام هو الشعب، لكن انت قلت الشعب ما بيعرف حقوقه. الحاجه ده نقوله الشعب بيعرف حقوقه، لكن الشعب متفكر.
الشعب مشتت. الشعب خش في روح القبليه، وده الحاجه الموجود في الشعب. ما دام في روح القبليه ما هيكون في وحده والناس ما هيكون واحد. فده الحته اللي انا اقول لك قبل انه الشعب انت كنت ما بيعرف حقوقهم، بيعرف حقوقهم لكن شنو روح القبليه خش في وسطهم وتشتت. انت ذكرت الموضوع بتاع التونجا، انت قلت ان احنا في التونجا الشلوك المعربوه في التونجا يعني ناس ما عارفين. نحن عارفين اللي قاعد يحصل في التونجا سبيشال نحن في الكلاب هاوس، نحن عارفين. لكن انتوا كشلوك رفضتوا موضوع التونجا ده، ما ناس ما يتكلموا فوقه. انا بتذكر في روم كان فتحوه قبل كده بموضوع بتاع التونجا. son of daughter بتاع تشولا هم اللي جو في روم قالوا في روم بتاع الابقراء قاعد بليل، قالوا منو اللي قال لكم في التونجا ده نشوف بتاع تشولا في التونجا. ناشلو قالوا منو اللي قال لكم في مشكله في التونجا، نحن اشتكينا لكم. ده بقى on the side. انت زادك ابونا زادك انت بيتر ميوم انت بنفسك في روم انت قلت لسارجود الشلكاوي اللي اسمه سارجود لما قاعد يتكلم موضوع التونجا قلت لا سيب الموضوع ده ما تتكلم فوقه، خلي موضوع التونجا ما دارين نفتح لنا، ما دارين نفتح جبهه ثانيه، خلينا نركز في جبهه واحد. وش يومين كان قصدك انك انت ما دار تجيب مشكله النوير، انت دار تشوف مشكله بتاعك مع دينكا. يعني دينكا عندك مشكله معه تحل مشكلتك مع دينكا، يلا نادي يتكلم موضوع بتاع النوير ده. انت اللي قلت الكلام ده لسارجود انك ما تتكلم في الموضوع ده، ما دار لنا جبهتين. We don't need no two front, دارين one front. الليله بتاعك لغه جميل جدا، انت بقيت رجل دين، اللغه بتاع السلام، اللغه بتاع الناس يكون واحد جميل. ده اللغه مقبول، ده اللغه اللي احنا كنا دايرين منها من زمان في ترميم، انك تنادي الناس انه الناس تتكلم للوحده والناس كلها ينادوا بصوت واحد لاصوات التغيير. طبعا قالوا الزول ما بيحاسبوا بالماضي بتاعه، لكن الحقيقه لازم يتقال. زي ما انت قلت في الكتاب المقدس بيقول لك نقول الحق والحق يحرر. انت تقول الحقيقه، الحقيقه بتاعك تقول لو نحن الدين كان غلط قول لنا، كان انتوا شيلوا الغلط بتاعكم وري الغلط بتاعكم. لو اي زول عمل غلط في البلد ده وروا كل زول غلطه بتاعه، لكن ما في غلطه بتاع زول ثاني بيدسه. اللي بيزعل الناس احيانا لما يكون في زول واحد بس اولويز ياو غلطان، ما في زول غلطان. لما تمسك زول واحد تقول مثلا بيتر ميوم ده عمل غلط، بيتر ميوم عمل غلط، وباقي الناس ثانيين ما ملائكه ما عملوا حاجه غلط، ده الكعب. لكن لما كل زول تديه غلطه بتاعه جميل جدا مقبول. والوحده مطلوب، وانا بتفق معك في كلامك اللي انت قلته كله. ونمرة اخر حاجه نقطه انت قلت قبل انه لمديد انك انت بدي روم عشان مديد. روم ده مفتوح، انت ويلكم. مديد قاعد، مديد ما في، you still انت ويلكم تجي any time. انا موظف ذا تايم وانا قاعد اران روم ده، وقبل كده انت جيت في روم ده انت كنت معي في روم، وما في زول عمل لك ابيوز، وما في زول جدع التاني. انت قعدت معنا لحد انت براك انت مشيت. انت مشيت براك، انت قعدت معي في روم وتكلمت وقلت كلامك وونسنا وناقشنا، اتفقنا في بعض الحاجات واختلفنا، لكن في النهايه انت براك انت شكرتنا في روم وانت مشيت مبسوط، ما مشيت زعلان من زول وما في زول زعلان منك. لانه نحن هنا ما جايين نشاكل وما جايين نختلف. يس في المواضيع السياسيه يا الاراء تختلف، ما هنتفق سياسيا ممكن، لكن ممكن نتفق اجتماعيا. وسياسيا ذات ما كل نقطه نحن نختلف في نقاشات سياسيه هنتفق، ده طبيعه بتاع الانسان كده. فانت ويلكم في الروم ده، واي زول من كل قبيله ويلكم. وبالمناسبه الروم ده مديد ده انت كويس شكرته، لان الروم الوحيد اي زول ممكن يتكلم كلامه، لكن باقي الرومات الثانيه لو بتمشي فوق مثلا تتكلم بالجواب بتاعك انت ما بتتكلم، لو اتكلمت كلام ما مقبول هنا بقول لا ليه قاعد تتكلم. لكن هنا ده عشان انت بتسمع زول اللي بيجيب ضد حكومه بيتكلم ضد حكومه، بتسمع زول اللي بيتكلم مشجع حكومه. يعني كل زول عنده حق بتاعه، يتكلم ضد حكومه في زول ثاني بيشجع حكومه. فهذه الحاجات يا مديد خلي زول قاعد تحت يا مديد، خلي الجوك ده تحت، let him relax down there. So the room اللي اي زول بيجي فوق وبيتكلم فوق برايه وبراحته.
No, I didn't bring him up.
I think بكون مجوك. Let him sit down there. So thank you, Peter Mayum. You are welcome from the anytime. I'm gonna pass the line. Let go. So and then feel free. Yani. Then Khamis, go ahead.
I think Monday Rajab is before me.
Okay, my screen is different. Just go ahead.
Thank you, Joseph, for the opportunity, and thank you, Madid, for organizing this session for discussion on these national issues. And thank you, Majok, for your elaborate presentation. You spoke my mind, and I got impressed by what you said. And the rest of the panelists, my greetings to you. Shepard, thank you for your submission. And the audience, my greetings to you. And thank you for joining in to participate in this discussion. I will share two things in this regard, and basically look forward into what do we do in this situation. But before I get to that, let me say a few things on the state of affairs or the latest security situation in Nasir. And I would say it would be an underestimation of the whole situation that we face if we focus on Nasir. Nasir is only the passing shadow, the current situation in a specific location. But this kind of situation in Nasir is bubbling all over the country, which is the real situation we face. So I will look at the situation in Nasir in the context of South Sudan as a whole to understand where we are and do it exactly as Majok did. I want to start with what Majok said, that we do not have an army as South Sudan. And it is important to take note of this submission. Now, where we are as Nasir or as the whole country, the truth of the matter is that the South Sudanese state has failed. Most institutions have collapsed or are dysfunctional. This is the reality of the situation that creates the kind of scene that we have seen in Nasir. This situation in Nasir is not isolated to Nasir alone. The problem is not isolated to Nasir. It is a situation, a reality of life for many citizens in different parts of the country. The reality of the matter as to why we have this kind of situation in Nasir and many parts of the country is that there is no national political agenda and vision and that the government has for the country. That's the basic, that's the bottom line. The government in Juba is not governing the country. They are busy frustrating one another in their coalitions, in their agreement, dividing the people or the country, and undermining any process of democratization of the country. And sometimes I hear you guys talking about elections, talking about this. Just forget about that. We are not anywhere close to that. There is no intention to do that, and everything else is simply a smokescreen. We are not going anywhere. The realities of the situation is what is manifesting itself in Nasir and other parts of the country. Now, where are we in this case? Why is Nasir where it is? The reality is that the government has lost control of security and administration of vast territories and even the territorial sovereignty of South Sudan. Whether internally the territories are not under full control of the government, and Nasir is a typical example. And when you go to the international borders, we are not even there. So anyone is almost free to encroach on our sovereign territories or take any part of our land. That is how bad it is. This situation in Nasir buckled up in other places. GPAA, for example, the Greater Pibor Administrative Area. I had an experience some time back, not so sure if it was 2020 or 2021. A huge force of armed civilians were moving towards GPAA, Greater Pibor Administrative Area. And I had the honor to rush to the national security to report that, things were a bit bad. There is a division of the national security that deals with matters of politics and social affairs, and that is where civil society works. So I reported and said, listen, there is a disaster looming in this place. A huge force is moving to attack. Can you please advise the political leadership to respond and arrest this situation quickly. And the officer I met, the commander, actually the head of that unit told me that, let me be honest with you, Rajab, the force that is moving towards Igor is about 50,000 armed men. And if we can rush now to mobilize forces to counter this force, we can get only about 4,000. And so 4,000 is not a match, cannot stop these guys. So what we will do is to allow them to do some little bit of a distraction and then begin to convince their leaders and community leaders to talk to them to say, now that you have done this, please go back. Stop there, do not continue. You might recall in in Tonj, sometime back, I think around 2022 or so, June or thereabout, when an army garrison, just like what has happened in Nasir, was overrun by armed civilians. The same situation has recently happened. The army was fighting with the youth, and I think in Unity State and all that. So today it is civilians who have simply overrun an army garrison, obliterating what was supposed to be a national army in that situation. The state institutions cannot enforce law and order. That is where we are. That's where you see some of these things. Where you attack a national army is supposed to be a criminal offense. There is no institution that is now capable of enforcing law, and the citizens understand now these institutions even as enemies. That is why they resist them. And this, as I mentioned, is not limited to Nasir. We are aware that this level of the situation, as I said, the country is not being governed. The resources, the revenues of the country are not being used to give life to the institutions of the government. People are not paid and so forth. In fact, one would even wonder why these soldiers would be fighting. Many people would be wondering, because this is the situation they have been subjected. If there were resources provided into this management, into these institutions, they would have reflected in making these institutions effectively functional. The oil and non-oil revenues, we can't even explain where they go. This is where we are. As to what is happening with the RRCs, this thing is long gone. This thing is long gone. And you may recall I was very much part of the agreement, in the negotiations, and also a signatory to the agreement. What is happening now is that implementation is not moving, as we all know. The parties are not at peace with one another. They do not sit down to reason together on how to move the country forward. If there is anything they do, it is a way to simply undermine one another in the coalitions, that in the unity government. The agreement is not being funded. It is not being politically supported to move. And funny enough, the signatories to this agreement now own the country. They simply, if there is anything, they say they are the highest authority. They just decide and they make things work. And in most cases, the decision they take is in terms of simply stamping their continuity in power. That's all. Now, all the mechanisms of the agreement, if they are supposed to work, their work is only meant to undermine implementation, to contribute to violations of the agreement. This is what is expected of these mechanisms, and even the regional partners from IGAD that are supporting. That's exactly what the parties would want of them. So we have a stagnation, a situation of stagnation. Now, this situation, if we do not conceptualize it and understand that this is a general situation that we face as a whole, we're not going to make progress out of this. What do we do? Which is more important for us to be discussing in this situation, in this case? I will simply borrow from some of our documents. We have blueprints to run the country from the literature of our liberation struggle. You can take any document, and that document can give you the blueprints to run the country. So there is no shortage, there is no question of what do we want in order to govern the country. So I'm going to read a few things that were outlined or written down by, in this particular case, by the SPDF as a good reminder In science, we say when you get lost in trying to fix a scientific issue, you go to the first principles to start from the beginning with the definitions and so on. So I'm reading some few texts from the SPLM manifesto of 2008, at least before they fragmented to what they are today. And this manifesto provides a lot of things. It was talking about Sudan, but now the whole thing reflects clearly about South Sudan. So where you see Sudan, where I mentioned Sudan, you change it with South Sudan. And it says in one of the texts that it dawned on the SPLM leadership that marginalization in all its forms, discrimination, injustice, and subordination constitute the root causes of the conflict that cannot be addressed in a piecemeal fashion. When we talk about marginalization, we're talking about power being controlled by a small group of elites in Juba. The rest of the country is forgotten. It is even now a small group of those who signed the agreement who own the country. The rest of us don't matter on national issues. And so they say very importantly that these problems cannot be addressed in a piecemeal fashion through dishing out handouts and concessions to the disgruntled and rebellious groups whenever a conflict erupted in a particular region. You know, we thought that PPAA had a problem, the greater Pibor, we gave them an administrative area. That has not solved the problem of the violence and conflict. We thought that there is a problem in another part of the country, you give concessions to that particular group and then to try to silence them. The FPLM said in 2008, these problems we are facing in different parts of the country cannot be solved in a piecemeal fashion. They said the Sudanese have problems everywhere in the west, in the east, in the center, and even in the north, north. Now, the later outbreak of the armed conflicts and wars in eastern and western Sudan. You can take this in terms of South Sudan. Now, what has brought out this outbreak in Nasir, we also have a similar incident ongoing in Point, has indicated the correctness and foresightedness of this analysis and vision that South Sudan has a problem across the country. The second quote says it is the Sudanese state, now the South Sudanese state, epitomized by the power structure in the center, which needs to be radically restructured. This is the SPLM saying these things, radically restructured in order to accommodate the Sudan's manifold diversity and attend to all forms of exclusion and marginalization of its people, be they in the south or in any other marginalized region. Now, the other quote says, without a sincere appreciation of phrases like nation building and the national unity become empty slogans. Indeed, the concept and reality of the state or nation state becomes fractured and degenerates into a mechanism for enabling some of the most notorious and unprincipled members of the local elite and power seekers, masquerading as nationalists, to seize and retain political power and then proceed to pillage all of their so-called nation state destitute. It goes on to say, this feeling went on to say, which is very important for us to reference this, because it's exactly what we set out to resolve as an independent state, that we must clearly move away from the parameters of the old Sudan of racism, religious intolerance, historical myopia, and the associated economic instability and wars. The second last quote says, there are two and only two choices at this point. Either the country breaks up into several independent states, or we agree to establish the new Sudan, a new Sudanese socio-political entity to which we pledge our undivided loyalty and allegiance, irrespective of race, tribe, religion, or gender. A new Sudanese commonality that seeks to include rather than exclude. A new Sudanese political dispensation that provides equal opportunities for every South Sudanese to develop and realize his or her potential. A Sudan where there is justice and equality of opportunity for all. A democratic Sudan in which governance is based on popular will and the rule of law. A new Sudan where religion and state are constitutionally separate. A new Sudan in which oppression and hegemony by any particular ethnic group are banished. A Sudan in which all the institutions of social, cultural, and racial hegemony and discrimination are dismantled. A Sudan in which there is respect for universal human rights. Finally, without dismantling this dysfunctional political establishment, this is now my own, not the quote, but my own contribution. Without dismantling this dysfunctional political establishment in Juba, we will only witness such violence and the destruction of life that is now happening in several parts of the country. It will be worse if some of our long-standing enemies, and I do not want to mention them by name, who were recently slaughtering our citizens on camera, begin to support all these disgruntled formations around the country. These things of opening rooms, comrades, to fight one another and to fight tribes and regions must stop. The boat, the South Sudanese boat, is sinking with all of us. There is no winner in this case. Any win is short-lived. And so we need to take responsibility as citizens. Those are discussions that should inform our engagements. These are issues that should inform our engagements. The problems we face, solutions have been clearly defined. You go to the Constitution, go to the fundamental objectives of the South Sudanese state, in, I think around Article 35 of the Constitution forward. And you read there is a political objective, there is an economic objective, and all of this. Well defined, well clearly defined. The problem is that no one uses those as references. We made clear definition of the problems and for solutions. Now we have ignored all of them. And with that, we will only be McTiring in these problems and eventually lose the state as a whole. Not small part of it. Not anyone is going to win. Even those political leaders sitting in Cuba, they are all going to be losers in this process. It is only a matter of time. My engagement with these political leaders gave me a lot of experience. There were people who were almost as powerful as the entire government of South Sudan, individuals. And they would not listen to anything, any problem, any issue you raise. They would only tell you that you are being manipulated by foreign powers to cause problems. Now, quite a number of them, as individuals who were once very powerful in Juba, now sit outside the country as opposition. So it's just a matter of time. Each of these power centers in Juba will become victims of the untenable status quo that they are creating. I remember recently in Nairobi, one of some of these individuals who now got arrested was waving the agreement to us and saying, there is nothing, this agreement is the only way up. Waving the agreement and all that, we were saying this thing is no longer working, no. And my joke, you are very right. They work together to contribute in violating the agreement. And when the violations now touch them or their parties, that is when they begin to complain. This is not how we run the country, but it's just a sad reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajab Mohandes. I don't have
Thank you guys for those of you watching on Facebook and also in YouTube. Thank you for watching. You can I reached now 2 hours. You guys can join us in Clubhouse. The conversation will continue over there. So if you have a lock-in pass Clubhouse, you can able to join us. So thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful night.